All right, the person who's on Zoom, if you could start your video. Oh. Yeah, it's Monday. Could you unmute, please?
You're in deep shit.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize I was muted, Your Honor.
That's okay. What is your name?
Tyler Ashbaugh.
All right, Mr. Ashbaugh, why you're in bed on Zoom?
Oh, I'm so sorry, ma'am.
No, that doesn't answer my question. My question is, why are you in bed on Zoom?
I was just waiting to be let into the courtroom, and then I was going to go sit down in my dining room, ma'am.
No, you were not, because you were all relaxed when I asked you who you were, and you were just chilling on the bed. Here's the thing. You have a privilege for appearing on Zoom. You are not to be in bed. This is not, romper room time or anything of that nature. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you in Bexar County?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So try that again, and your Zoom privileges will be permanently revoked. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. We're waiting for your attorney. I'm going to put you in the waiting room.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, hold on. I'm ready on case number 234442101, the People versus Bonita Devon Brooks. Defendant is charged with 1 count of assault or assault and battery. Today is the date set for sentencing. Appearances, please.
For the record, Your Honor, Christina Ritter on behalf of the people. I have a complaint with us present in the courtroom this morning. Ms. Watkins, can you study the second medical record?
Yes, my name is Gwendolyn. Thank you.
And for the record, Your Honor, Janice Stevenson appearing on behalf of Ms. Bonita Brooks. Ms. Brooks, ma'am, please say your full name.
Bonita Devon Brooks.
Thank you. Today is the date set for sentencing. Ma'am, you may have a seat. Today is the date set for sentencing. I have had an opportunity to review the pre-sentence report. With respect to the report itself, are there any additions, deletions, or corrections on behalf of the people?
Yes, Judge, just one correction on the face page. So under plea agreement, probation said that no plea agreement was given to probation. That's because there was no plea agreement. This was actually a bench trial. And the court, yes, the court found Ms. Brooks guilty count 1, and then again convicted by, it was not a plea. A guilty verdict at a bench trial. I remember that. Oh, nothing else on behalf of the people.
Anything on behalf of Ms. Brooks?
Yes, Your Honor, Ms. Brooks and I have had the opportunity to review together the pre-sentence investigation report consistent with the people's representation. And I would offer the following correction on page 7, Your Honor. The evaluation and plan. 1, 2, 3. I guess 3 lines down, that in the sentence that ends the 3rd line does say there was no plea agreement. The defendant pleaded guilty as charged, and as the people have just stated, this was a waiver trial wherein the court did find Ms. Brooks guilty of 1 count of assault and battery. Then back to the face sheet, Your Honor. This is something I say pretty consistently, I think, at sentencing, but the caption on the face sheet reads prior criminal history. And we just want the court to take note of the fact that she's not been convicted of anything before this. So Ms. Brooks does stand ready for sentencing. Other than those corrections, we have no additions, deletions, or corrections, and she's ready for sentencing, Your Honor.
With respect to sentencing, is there anything on behalf of other people?
Yes, Your Honor. So there was a recommendation, Your Honor, from probation for 24 months of a probationary term. If the court remembers, this is a case where there are two next door neighbors, and it seems like there's been quite a few between the two for quite some time now. As the court does remember, we did have a bench trial, and after the bench trial, the people still received information from the complainant witness, Ms. Watkins, who is present today, that Ms. Brooks is still not abiding by the court order. I believe we had an emergency bond hearing where the court did order Ms. Brooks' daughter, and I believe it was her niece, not to come to the address. According to Ms. Watkins, she has video that the daughter is still coming to the address. Ms. Brooks is still threatening her. And I believe that in this instance, Your Honor, again, these are two next door neighbors, and I know that the court is not here to babysit the two neighbors and try to find out what's going on between the two neighbors from this long feud. However, Your Honor, the people are asking the court to give a lengthier probationary term instead of the 12 months. I'm not saying the 24, but we are asking for more than the 12 months in this case, Your Honor. Again, there is an ongoing feud between the two neighbors, and it seems like it's a nonstop issue. So I believe that a lengthier term for Ms. Brooks will be appropriate so that Ms. Brooks does take this court order serious and this court's direction to keep absolutely no contact from Ms. Watkins serious in this matter, Judge. And Ms. Watkins is here today, Your Honor. So I would ask Ms. Watkins if she would like to make a victim impact statement to the court at this time, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Watkins, would you like to speak to the court regarding the incident? Okay, just a
So the podium,
or she can stand at your table. Okay. She should come to the podium so that I can make sure Ms. Stevenson is in here.
Good morning, Judge Bryant.
Good morning.
I was always told that you cannot live your best life without God. And my prayer warriors lifted me up this morning. I was homeless before I bought my home in February 2017. I slept in my car to rub every penny that I had, me and my husband, to buy us a home. We bought our home in May 2017. Detroit Progress tried to steal our cash for our home. We had to get help from Lakeshore Legal Aid, and they helped us retain our home. Me and Ms. Brooks was very cordial, very cordial. I was a new homeowner, and she was a homeowner as well. And she explained to me where our district manager building was, the trash pickup. My husband was even taking her daughter back to school. Her daughter started showing strange behavior, and I stopped my husband from taking her daughter back to school. I have been back and forth with the police department, and Ms. Brooks did say something right. Detroit Police Department do need to do their job. Ms. Brooks is an evil person, and it's a difference between being mental and evil. Anytime when you take your car and you struck my husband with your car, and then you send me your car repairs afterwards. I was in Ms. Judge Lynn Pierce courtroom when she granted me our first 2-year PPO. And she looked at me and my husband, and she said, I feel sorry for you both. Because she said this PPO is not going to protect you. And it hasn't. It's been 6 long years, and Ms. Brooks will not stop. And she still disregards the law. So I know at this point, she's not going to stop. I sat in front of the neighborhood police officers, and they want to tell me that Ms. Brooks has a mental problem. So I asked them a question. What are you going to tell my 8 grandkids when Ms. Brooks really do something really bad to me and my husband? It got completely silent. There was no words. There was no conversation back from me. All they could say is, well, we sorry. There's nothing that we could do for it. I've been going through this with Ms. Brooks for 6 long years. Bullies don't just come as teenagers in high school. They are also adults who think they have the right to break the spirits of others so they can feel better about their miserable lives.
Anything further?
One last thing, Your Honor, as far as the restitution, people believe that there was no restitution ordered in this matter, so people are okay with restitution. Okay, I said only have two.
On behalf of the defense.
Thank you, Your Honor. So Ms. Brooks and I, again, have had the opportunity to review the pre-sentence investigation report.
Ms. Easton, I apologize. Give me 1 second. Mr. Miller.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning. Mr. Miller, did you receive the pre-sentence investigation for Ms. Mayberry?
Yes. Yep, I've got it. I just need to speak with my client in the breakout room briefly.
Okay, that's why I was asking. I'll bring your client in and I'll send you both to.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Ms. Mayberry, I'm going to send you to the breakout room so that you can speak with your lawyer. So please accept to join the breakout room number 15. All right, counsel. Okay, Ms. Easton, I apologize for the interruption.
No problem, Your Honor. So, again, Ms. Brooks and I have had the opportunity to review the pre-sentence investigation report. Ms. Brooks and I have had the opportunity to have numerous conversations throughout the life of this case. I've had an opportunity to review a lot of video footage and a lot of court records, Your Honor, which were not relevant and therefore not even offered during the trial. And I do have one piece of video footage that I'd like the court, if I'm permitted, to take a look at, which I think is relevant because I think it speaks to, if the court's interested, but I think it speaks to how very sad the situation is between both parties, and the fact that these neighbors just have not been able to get along with each other. I don't know what really happened. Ms. Brooks has given me some information that, again, I just don't know that is even relevant at this point as to what happened between her and Ms. Watkins and what caused the deterioration of their relationship and what role Ms. Brooks' daughter or Ms. Watkins' husband had in that situation. I don't know that all that is really relevant here, but it is, this is a bad neighbor situation, to the point where Ms. Brooks advised me on Friday that she is very, very, very seriously considering moving away from her home, which she has owned for 20 years. It's been her behavior on the date the incident which brought us to court. She's going to speak to how irresponsible that behavior was and how inappropriate that behavior was. But it's, not an isolated situation. It's not an incident that should be considered in a vacuum. There is volatility between these parties. police reports have been made against both parties. The police have been out there at the request of each of the parties. So it's a bad situation. Ms. Brooks called me last week and told me that her daughter, she wanted to know whether or not your court order prohibiting her daughter from coming over to the house was still in effect. I told her I had heard nothing from this court indicating that court order had been lifted, and she did admit that her daughter went over to the house to pick up her mail. Ms. Brooks vehemently denies having had any contact with Ms. Watkins, had an opportunity to see herself on that video that the court saw, and concluded her behavior, whatever the reason or whatever she thinks caused it, was absolutely inappropriate and not to be repeated. She has taken this court's order seriously to the point where she's prohibited her person, they call her niece, and prohibited her own child at this court's order from coming to her home, made her own daughter move out of her house because she doesn't want to defy this court's orders. Ms. Brooks has had no prior criminal history.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Can you all remind me which case this is? Is this the case with the fence, or is this the case with the what you call it, from across the street?
It's both. So the fence was the bond violation, and the across the street is the actual incident.
Because I was having memories of both. Okay, thank you. Okay, go ahead.
So again, I want the court, if it please the court, I would like the court just to take a look at one incident that happened between these parties that was not admissible, because it was not I didn't even offer it at trial because I didn't, as an officer of the court, I don't know that I found it to be relevant for my trial strategy.
You may, I guess.
Thank you, Your Honor. If I can do it. And so that is just as much video footage as Ms. Brooks was able to get of.
But what did I just see, since you didn't tell me anything?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'll try to do it again. That's a video of Ms. Watkins purposefully, intentionally backing over Ms. Brooks' trash can.
So my question is, whose house is the truck in front of?
I said it the wrong way. That is a video of Ms. Watkins intentionally backing over Ms. Brooks' trash can.
Right, but then whose house is the truck sitting in front of?
So when it starts, it's sitting in front of Ms. Watkins' home, I believe.
So Ms. Brooks' home is the home with the car in the driveway?
Yes.
And Ms. Watkins' home is the home that the burgundy truck was sitting in front of?
Yes, Your Honor. And Ms. Brooks or whomever.
Hold on, I'm asking.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The trash can that you're saying belongs to Ms. Brooks is
in front of Ms. Watkins' house.
Okay, thank you. And then Ms. Watkins backs up and pushes it over. Is that what I'm saying?
Yes, Your Honor.
Or somebody in the burgundy truck backs up and pushes it over?
Yes, Your Honor. So,
okay, thank you.
And I only just, I wanted the court just to have just a glimpse into how toxic the relationship between these two neighbors is. I mean, It's not okay for Ms. Brooks to put her trash can on, the other side of her own driveway. That's not okay. But, civility between neighbors, that's not the way that civil neighbors respond. You don't just back over the trash can like that. And so I understand frustration on the part of both of these individuals, but Ms. Brooks has to understand that right now she stands as the defendant before this court. And so her conduct is the conduct that's going to be monitored so very closely by this court. And she's doing what she knows to do to make sure that she doesn't, come back here as a defendant, or that she doesn't suffer advanced sanctions from this court. Again, even to the point of considering as a remedy, moving out of her home where she's lived for the last 20 years. I did have an opportunity to read through the probation officer's analysis of Ms. Brooks' behavior. So I don't know that I would agree. And I don't know that there's been any psychiatric or even psychological diagnosis, Your Honor, that would support the probation department's contention that on page 7 in the third paragraph down 2 lines from the bottom, that Ms. Brooks exhibit signs of paranoia. And I don't know that I would say that, as the probation department concluded, that behavior, or that conclusion is supported by the police description of the offense. There's been a lot of volatility between these neighbors. There's a lot of problems going on between these neighbors. So for Ms. Brooks, according to the police department, to be concerned that people are maybe videoing her house or filming her license plate, that stuff is going on between the two of them. There's really weird, crazy stuff happening between these two houses. Ms. Brooks has shown me photographs where she sees that cameras pointed from Ms. Watkins' house directly to Ms. Brooks' house. And I told Ms. Brooks, Ms. Watkins can put cameras anywhere on her house that she wants to. That's her house. And they can look at anything she wants them to look at. That's her house. But for Ms. Brooks's position, it's just making it difficult for her to live there. And so she's really thinking about moving. I did want to say that in the victim statement portion of the pre-sentence investigation report, that I don't know if this is what Ms. Watkins reported, but the victim statement says that while she was sitting in her driveway, Ms. Brooks came up to her window with what she thought was a gun. And if the court recalls the trial, that is not what it all is consistent with the video evidence, that all of this behavior took place on the part of Ms. Brooks from across the street. That there's no video evidence. The video evidence did not support that recitation that she thought Ms. Brooks, she came up to her car with a gun. So this is a mess, and it's a sad mess. It's very unfortunate. But the bottom line is that Ms. Brooks is not trying to go to jail. She's not trying to engage in any course of it's just a lot of volatility between these people, that the real, honest to God, unfortunate remedy may be that Ms. Brooks has to relocate. And that's sad. But they were cordial. They were neighborly at one time. And, they know what happened to destroy that cordiality. And I agree with the people that the court should not be placed in the position of babysitting anybody. But Ms. Brooks is not trying to do anything to defy any court orders. Her daughter did go to the house to pick up the mail, but Ms. Brooks denies having violated this court's no contact order.
Did she call the police on her daughter when her daughter came to her house to pick up the mail?
No, she did not, Your Honor.
Oh, okay.
So, I am asking the court to give Ms. Brooks an opportunity to demonstrate that she can live peaceably in this community, even if that means she has to go live someplace else. I'm asking the court to, I don't know about the anger management recommendation. Certainly, I don't think that a course of anger management would hurt anybody. I always say that.
Ms. Brooks,
But
you
I don't know if
continue
that gets to it.
yourself. You keep unmuting yourself. Every time I mute you, you unmute yourself. Can you please stay muted? For the 5th time, I'm muting you. Please stay muted until asked to unmute by the court. Ms. Stevenson, it was difficult for me to hear that last part because Ms. Brooks' device is giving me feedback and she keeps unmuting.
Okay. All right. And yeah, we're muted now. So again, looking at the fact that we don't have any prior criminal history on the part of Ms. Brooks, and looking at the fact that, she has a traffic balance with the 36th District Court, but nothing lengthy that I see with some of my clients. I do believe that she would be a good candidate for probation. I believe she would respond favorably to probation, Your Honor, and we would ask for that sentence from the court.
What are we doing on Moss?
Moss is going to have to retain. Oh, thank you, Mr. Murad, for getting ready to chime in.
That was correct. Moss is going to have to retain.
She exceeds our income guidelines, Your Honor.
All right, would Ms. Brooks like to make a statement on her own behalf?
Yeah, sure. I would like to say I never meant to intimidate anyone, and I would like for you to forgive me for my intimidation. And I would like to ask if you could, after I complete everything, expunge this off my record.
Anything further?
That's it, Your Honor.
All right, so of course, the court has had an opportunity to review the pre-sentence report. I've had an opportunity to listen to the testimony at trial. I had an opportunity to listen to some other things at the bond violation hearing, and I'm ready to impose sentence. I'm almost ready to impose sentence, but I'm going to proceed, and then we'll see how that takes me. Yeah. I'm going to start by saying that wherever Miss Brooks lives in the world, wherever she lives in the world, wherever, hold on, let me. All right. Wherever Miss Brooks lives in the world, Miss Brooks is going to be with her. Everywhere she goes, in the whole entire world, she's taking herself with her. No matter what her neighbors, who her neighbors are, Miss Brooks is going to be right there with herself. I'm not a clinician, neither is probation. And that's why I'm gonna have somebody who is better equipped to talk to Ms. Brooks so I can decide if I'm gonna send her to the mental health treatment court, because that is delusional. Who cares if I see my neighbor recording my license plate? My neighbor lives right next door to me. It is delusional to fixate on my neighbor is recording my license plate. My neighbor can see my license plate. She literally is parked at the end of her driveway with her trunk to the street. Anybody who wants to can come out and take a picture of her license plate. If she didn't want somebody to see her license plate, she would hurry up and come home and back in to her driveway. Now the only way my neighbor could get my license plate is if they catch me leaving out or if they come on my property. Now they're wrong for coming on my property. Additionally, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the video that you showed me today, but what I know is Ms. Brooks started it. Now, did the victim act according to what a rational person who's trying to avoid conflict and live in peace with everybody should do? No. If my neighbor put their garbage can on my part, would I run it over? No. But if I have a conflict with my neighbor, why would I put my trash can on there in front of their house? It's not even like they live on the other side of the street. So like one morning when I woke up and I said, why is the garbage truck out here so early? Because they never come early until I didn't put my trash out there the night before. Now I hear the garbage truck. Now they're coming down my side of the street. So the only way for me to get my trash picked up that day is if I take my trash can, move it to the other side of the street. But because I'm neighborly, as people should be when they have neighbors, I would literally ask my neighbor. I would have previously asked my neighbor before this, because we're neighborly in where I live, where I've ever lived in my entire life, because I show myself neighborly. So I would already know that my neighbor thinks it's okay if I miss the trash coming my way, sure, you can pull your trash can over here. It's not hurting me. First of all, it's on a public street. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. When I put my trash can in the street, it's the public street. It belongs to the city. You have no rights to it. Not the victim, nor the defendant. It's the street. You have no right. I can park in front of your house if I want to. It's the public street. It's the public street. So everybody is behaving badly and poorly. Let's say that. If we were trying to be peacefully, and I just didn't want your trash can in front of my house, if I did push it with my truck, I was only gonna push it in front of your house. If I was trying to be petty, if I was trying to be petty, I might have just pushed it right there so it was blocking your car, so that when you came out, now you gotta pull it on your side. If I was being petty, that's what petty neighbors do. That's why neighbors can't get along sometimes, because y'all being petty. Miss Brooks trying to act like, oh, I didn't mean to intimidate nobody. Yes, you did. You meant to intimidate them because you felt like they were intimidating you. Could be, or you could be the original agitator. I play this game that I'm getting ready to give up playing. and Monopoly Go, and then some of your friends destroy your board, then they show up on your revenge thing where you could get them back. And I told my one friend, I said, well, by the time we get each other back twice, we don't know who started it. We don't know who was the originator of doing it. Now every time you just keep showing up on my board. It's probably been going on so long, y'all don't know who started it. But the only person in trouble right now is Miss Brooks. And then I highlighted some things that does cause me to believe that there's some type of mental health issues going on. And if there are no mental health issues going on, Miss Brooks might need to get locked up. That's where I'm at right there. I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt that there's some mental issues going on. Some things that maybe she needs some assistance with. Otherwise, I might adjourn the hearing and she might need to come in person and go behind that great door. Cause she's being petty and not abiding by my orders. Cause here's the thing about that thing. I don't know when that video was taken with that trash can being in front of that house. But if it was taken after my no contact order, she kind of violating the order. You come in on my property. I don't know how she had to come over there and put that trash can in front of their house, which was petty all the way around. They live on the same side of the street. So when the trash truck comes, they just picking up both of their trash right one after the other. It was no reason, zero reason for Miss Brooks to put her trash can in front of I don't want to keep calling her Victor. What's her last name again?
Miss Watkins.
Miss Watkins' house. It was no reason. When Miss Brooks' daughter came to her house, if it was my daughter, I'd have called the police on her. Police, my daughter coming over here, and the judge said she can't come over here. I need y'all to hurry up and get here. She breaking in. She breaking and entering a dwelling without owner's consent. I do not consent to her coming in here getting her mail. But no, because Miss Brooks is obstinate and refractory, she said, come on over here and get your mail. The judge can't tell me what to do. Now, she gonna ask you when it's come time for sentencing, was I supposed to let my daughter come over here? She should have been asking you that before the daughter came over there to get the mail. I promise you, if I tell my grown daughter today, don't come to my house, don't come to my house. The judge said you can't come to my house because you over there fooling with the neighbor. You messing with the neighbor. The judge said don't come over my house. I guarantee you she's not gonna come. Why? Because she's gonna be scared of me. She know I'm gonna call the police on her. Oh, you at my house, I'm calling the police. And every time I'm gonna have a police report when my daughter come to my house. So you're not gonna just throw a rock and hide your hand. You're not. You're not gonna just, oh, I can't control my kids. Well, then tell them to stop coming over your house. Look like you might need to move from your kids. But you're not gonna try to pretend like, oh, I didn't know I was intimidating somebody. Yes, you did. Oh, look what she did. It takes an interesting person. And I'm going to say, again, one with some mental health challenges, to present a video where I'm in the wrong. I threw rocks on my neighbor's thing, and now I'm gonna show the judge how my neighbor is pushing these rocks on my property. You don't want to throw the rocks on their property. You're the one who put your trash can on in front of their home for no reason. None, zero, zilch. No reason. There was no construction that I saw in front of your home. DTE didn't have your house blocked off. And if I was gonna put my trash can in front of a neighbor's house because my own home is the water and sewage is in front of my house, I can't put I'm definitely not gonna put it in front of the house of the person that I'm having a conflict with. Put your phone back down, put it back where it was, because the last time I checked, I was literally in the middle of your sentencing. Put that phone down, ma'am. Ma'am, don't do that. You can show me your hands now. I literally just saw you get up and get the phone. I don't care if your hands are empty in this moment. You literally just got up on the camera and picked up that phone. Good morning, Mr. Page.
Good morning, Judge. How are you?
I'm wonderful, Mr. Page. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay on this Monday morning.
Don't get tired of me, Mr. Page, yet. You just start working here. Don't get tired yet.
Never.
Mr. Page, I'm giving you a lot of work. Just know that.
It's okay. I already know, but it's all right. It's all right.
Security from me, Mr. Page. Well, Mr. Page, you've had an opportunity to hear some of my situation. So Ms. Brooks is here for sentencing today. There was a recommendation in the probation order for mental health evaluation. And I do understand, again, the new procedure for your court, but I do want to take a break in this moment. And I just want you to speak with Ms. Brooks to I don't know, get a little bit of understanding of it, even if you think that she, might need to come at all. Like, aside from the fact, well, I guess her eligibility would hinge on whether she needs to come, that's it. But I don't think,
From what I read, it looks like she never had a mental health evaluation and she denies any substance abuse or anything. So I'm not quite sure, but I can definitely talk to her and get some information.
So maybe that's where I need to start of getting the mental health evaluation first before I bring you all involved.
Correct.
Okay, then let's do that. Thank you for that. Because you are correct in both of those, and I was trying to see something, but they're not doing what I need them to do. Okay. And I didn't highlight it. Oh, yes, I did. So you're correct. She denies it and she tested negative.
Yes.
Way down there on page 8 at the bottom. I'm going to have to talk to Mr. Farmer about that. So this is what I'll do. I'll allow you to go on about your business. And then I will order that she submits to the mental health evaluation, and then we can go from there.
And then we'll come back. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr.
Oh,
Page.
no problem. No problem, Judge. You have a great day.
All right, you also.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Okay. So that being the case, I am ready to impose sentence, and I'm going to do so in the following manner. Court is going to impose 24-month probation. That will put us with a final review date of February something 2026. Mr. Flanagan, find that date for it. And then part of the reason that I'm extending it for so long is pending the mental health evaluation. So pending the mental health evaluation, because I don't want to do 12-month period and then have to try to deal with Judge Holmes. So the court is going to order the following conditions of probation. You shall not violate any criminal law of any governmental unit. That means no new cases. You must not leave the state of Michigan without consent from the court. You must make a truthful report to probation on a monthly basis. And you must notify probation immediately of any change of your address, phone number, or employment status. You will pay the following fines, costs, and fees. Mandatory cost of $210. $100 attorney's fee, $300 fine, 0 restitution, $840 in oversight fees. Of course, that's at a rate of $35 per month, and of course, it will be prorated if she is discharged early. $50 pre-sentence investigation fee. For a total of $1,450. Final review date will be February the 12th, 2026, if we get to that point. You shall not use or possess any illegal substance. You shall not use or possess any marijuana without a valid medical marijuana card. You shall not use or possess any opiates without a valid prescription and letter of explanation from the doctor. You shall not drive without a valid driver's license. And according to the report on page 3, at this time, your license is valid. You shall not use or possess any handguns, firearms, anything that look like a handgun, firearm, anything that might be interpreted as a handgun, firearm. You shall not possess it. You shall submit to random urinalysis, not on a monthly basis, but whenever at the discretion of probation. You shall submit to a mental health evaluation within 90 days. You shall attend 18 weeks of anger management. You shall have absolutely no contact with the complaining witness. That means including in front of her house. Don't park in front of her house. Don't put your garbage can in front of her house. Don't put your leaves in front of her house. Don't put your bulk trash in front of her house. Do not place anything in front of her house. Nothing. No thing. You shall attend the Choices program through eBay. You have a $335 balance with 36 District Court. You shall pay that in full. Court is going to set a review date for June the 10th. The mental health evaluation must have been completed by June 10th. Must have been completed before June 10th. Must be completed. Must be completed before June 10th. Must be completed. Completed. Not scheduled. Completed by June 10th. I'm going to hold off at this time. There was a recommendation for the 3 days of community service, but I'm going to hold off at this time because I'm giving her 18 weeks of anger management plus the Choices program. Anything further with respect to this matter?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I would ask the court to reconsider the $35 per month rate at the oversight fees due to the income that's reported in the employment section on page 5, Your Honor.
I don't know. She's working. What do you mean?
Right, Your Honor, but so, just by definition of having been able to use our services, Ms. Brooks is considered.
But everybody that use your services get $35 a month unless I say something else. That the people who use your services don't get a reduced rate for the oversight fees. No,
Right.
she's gonna require a lot of oversight. So no, not right now. I won't reconsider it. No.
Okay, I'm just looking at the rate of pay, the rate of hourly pay, Your Honor. And
I'm looking at it. She said the answer is no. She's not the first person that made $14 an hour that get $35 a month. She's not the first. And at this moment, the answer is no. I'll reconsider it later to see how she's doing, but based on her ability to pay, I mean, we could do an ability to pay hearing, and she could bring in all the money and all her, expenses and things and such, including how much she paid for that taser gun.
And I know she's going to have to pay more for her, the anger management, because that course is a
Ms.
lot
Stevenson,
longer.
the answer is no.
Your Honor, thank you.
Okay. I'm gonna mail a copy of this order. I'm not. The court is gonna mail a copy of this order to the Stout Street address. Probation is gonna contact Ms. Brooks at the phone number ending in 2689. And if anything, I will, convert some of her costs to community service, but I'm not reducing it. She's gonna require a lot of oversight. I can clearly see she's gonna require a lot of oversight. Anything further?
Nothing on behalf of Ms. Brooks. Thank you very much, Your Honor.
All right, you're very welcome. Everyone have a great day and stay safe.